Good morning, everyone. It's our Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. It is Sunday morning. It is match day, guys. It's match day, and we are here live for you guys this morning. Of course, leading up to the match against Fulham today in the FA Cup. Of course, guys, you know what? A must win, because the cup competitions are very important for Man United this season. Of course, having the league, the league is out the window, to be honest with you. And we have to hope that we get through today and get as far as possible in these competitions, because when you get to the latter stages, the quarterfinals, if we win this game today, and then you get to the semi-finals, then you know what, it starts to become a possibility. And as we know, in 2017, when Jose Mourinho was managing Manchester United, we didn't qualify for the Champions League via the league. We actually won the Europa League and qualified for the Champions League that route. It can become a saviour of your season. It can become a saviour of your season. And with winning the FA Cup or winning Europa League, this is the eggs what the basket has to be filled with, of course, guys. Absolutely. Let me read some of your comments, of course. Good morning, EC. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Really good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Of course, good morning, Sanjay. Hope you're good. Sal, the musical, another act of stupidity of the American Mr. Trump. Yeah, look, you know what? At the end of the day, what can I say? It's just the way the world is, isn't it? Politicians, not too interested in them, to be honest. They're all the same or the same evil, difference of the same evil. I don't think Zelensky's any good either. You know what I mean? I don't think any of them are. I think they're all in it for their own personal profits and stuff, and they don't really care about us, to be honest with you. So that's what I would say about that. Good morning, though, of course. Good morning. Anthony made Real Madrid bamboozled. I wouldn't go that far, GK. Anthony made Real Madrid bamboozled. Nah. It was a fluke win for Betis, 2-1. Of course, I don't think he left them bamboozled, mate. Absolutely not. He definitely didn't leave the Man United fans bamboozled with 2 years at Man United, absolutely doing nothing. He left us bamboozled as to why he cost 90 million. That's what he left us bamboozled with. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Don't care about Anthony, to be honest. Fouled at Man United, and we move on, to be honest, and hope we get some money for him. The only good thing about coming out of this is the fact that we got money from him, of course. Absolutely. The La Liga title is heating up this season. Yeah, well, it's a two league team. It's a 2-team league. It's Real Madrid and Barcelona. It's a glorified Scottish league, to be honest with you. Absolutely. Anthony getting praises for what? What's he getting praises for? The fact that he fouled at Man United. That's all I know. That's all I know is he fouled at Man United. I don't care what he does at Real Betis, to be honest. He had 2 years at Manchester United and didn't succeed at Manchester United. So that's not our fault, is it? At the end of the day, he's had opportunities after opportunities. And you know what? He was just a spin merchant for us. And that was about it, to be honest with you. But best of luck to him. And we hope that, we get some money from him at the end of the season. We hope at the end of the day, because we need the money, because we need to invest in players, of course. Some players, if you understand the game, some players find their level. For example, Manchester United is a different animal to Real Betis. Right, and Real Betis there's far less pressure at Real Betis. Teams like Real Betis is like, you know what, we can win the odd game against Real Madrid or Barcelona and stuff like that, but expectations not really great. We don't really win anything, and that is the difference between Manchester United and Real Betis. There's a lot less pressure on that, of course. Lanny, just because they get a gimmick to me, it's Kenny. Kenny, you're smart, man. You know what's going on here. There are player FC within the midst of our fan base, unfortunately. And you know what we have to look at is that what did he do for Manchester United? And the fact is he done nothing for Manchester United. You know what? Good effort, but just not the quality of Manchester United player. He's a Real Betis quality player. That's what he is. And he's fitting in well at Real Betis because it is his level. And we have to look at that. Real Madrid lose games. Real Madrid are going to lose games. Real Madrid are not the best Real Madrid we've seen. But you know what? They're missing Bellingham as well, of course. So, I would say, look, sometimes teams beat other teams. Plymouth beat, who did they knock out of the FA Cup? Do you know what I'm saying? Liverpool? There you go. It happens sometimes. You know what I mean? That's what shocks happen, don't they? But we're talking about Manchester United today. And Manchester United do play Fulham, of course, tonight in the FA Cup 5th round. Need to win it because it gives us an opportunity to qualify for the Europa League. You know what? It is the Europa League for me and then the FA Cup. Europa League and then the FA Cup. once we get one of those, we'll be okay. We need to qualify for Europe this season, definitely, because we need to get some money in. It does, you know what? If you win Europa League, if you qualify for the Europa League, it does represent 30 odd million, doesn't it? Something like that, of course, guys. Which how many jobs would that save? There you go. Now, guys, I want to get into this real quickly in regards to Manchester United transfers. Manchester United are looking to replace Onana. Apparently, Ruben Amorim is losing patience in Onana. Apparently, he had words with Onana in regards to his performances, that these mistakes and these errors leading up to goals cannot be accepted. Behind the scenes, Ruben Amorim was said to be blaming Onana for the mistake for Dorgu when Onana came rushing out of his goal like an absolute maniac, making Dorgu jump, of course, and panic and pass the ball quickly. So Manchester United are looking to replace Onana. Who that goalkeeper is remains to be seen. One of the goalkeepers that Manchester United are looking at replacing Onana with is a player we may have heard of. His name is James Trafford. He plays for Burnley in the Championship. He is a 22-year-old, so he's a young goalkeeper. He would set Manchester United back around 18 million euros. He's a good player, in my opinion. Been in the England squad a few times. He's been in the England squad a few times, and he is a very, very high potential player that Man United are looking at in replacing Onana as a first team goalkeeper. Of course, I've been speaking all week about, you know what, goalkeepers that might be backup, might be understudy to Onana, might be the understudy to the new goalkeeper. But this one is for the first team. Manchester United are looking at the first team, and James Trafford is a name that pops up for Manchester United going forward, of course. His contract expires in 2027. And he won't set us back too much money. I think Man United could possibly get him the deal done for about 20 million, which isn't too bad if we're being honest. Big up Original. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Ayo, big up. Just come out of from boarding school. How is MEC doing? Not too well, Original. How are you doing, my friend? Hope boarding school is good, mate. Hope you're good. Good to play you. Paul, Anthony only playing good because there is no expectation from him. He is not a match winner. Paul play, you know the score, don't you? At the end of the day, he's got no pressure at Real Betis. Man United are a different animal. Only certain players can play for Manchester United. Only certain players know that can handle the pressures of playing for Manchester United. There's only certain players. When you go to a team like Real Betis, where there's no pressure, they never win anything. You know what? You can play with the shackles off. You can play with the shackles off. Unfortunately, there are players who can't play at Manchester United. There are certain players who can't handle the pressure that comes along with playing for Manchester United. And that is why Anthony is one of them, unfortunately. And that is no detriment to him because, you know what, there's many players out there who have fouled at Man United. Great players who have fouled at Man United. I remember Juan Sebastian Veron. You remember Juan Sebastian Veron, who was a fantastic player at Sampdoria and Lazio and Inter Milan. But when he came to Manchester United, he wasn't a great player, was he? Well, he was better than what they have now. But you know what? Compared to the standards that we had back then, he wasn't up to scratch, of course, guys. So I take things with a pinch of salt in regards to Anthony. I do, because people need to understand that Real Betis is not Manchester United, and that's what they have to understand, right? They have to understand that the pressure is off. It's a bit like if Anthony played for Real Madrid. You know what I mean? It would be difficult for Anthony, but also. It's not only that, the environment at Manchester United is completely different. At the moment, the pressure is immense. It's at an all-time high. And the fact that Manchester United have to win things and the pressure is on to get into Europe, it's very difficult for some players to really handle that pressure. Someone like Anthony loves the easy life. He loves, you know what, a team that has got no pressure. He can do his little spins. He can do this and that. And that's great. But at the end of the day, what I would say is that, you know what, Anthony doing well at Betis is only good for Manchester United because he could be sold in the summer and Man United can get some money for him, of course, guys. So it does look like that way, of course. Big up, Shah. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. It's good for Anthony's doing well, other than clubs attract for him to raise value. Absolutely, Shah. This is what it all boils down to, isn't it? This is what it all goes down to in regards to we have to sell him. And it's great for Manchester United if Anthony's doing well. If Anthony does badly, we can't sell Anthony, to be honest with you. Look, I'm not saying Anthony's a rubbish player. I just don't think some players can handle the pressures of Manchester United. They can't. It's too much pressure. You're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world, and some players just can't handle that stress. When you're playing on the wing for Manchester United, you think of the great wingers who play for Man United: David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Cristiano Ronaldo, Andre Kanchelskis, Lee Sharp. You can go on and on and on. And, you know, this is what I'm talking about. You are standing on the shoulders of greatness, and some people can't really handle that pressure at the end of the day. Matt, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Why is it that Man United is looking to replace so many return Spencer signing? Why was the player recruitment so poor? Onana. One thing I would say, Matt, in regards to Eric Ten Hag, I feel sorry for Eric Ten Hag, because at the end of the day, he didn't have a recruitment team like Ruben Amorim has to get players in. If there was a recruitment team like there is now, probably some of those players wouldn't have signed for Man United. I myself wouldn't have signed some of those players. I myself most definitely wouldn't have signed Mason Mount. At the end of the day, I know all about Mason Mount, and I know he's a deceiver. But, you know, what I would say is that sometimes the managers don't have the best of judgments in regards to players, and that is normal. Alex Ferguson did as well. I remember Alex Ferguson signing Claverson and Jemba, you know, I mean, David Bellion, you know, some players they did. Juan Sebastian Veron, as I said earlier, it was a big, expensive flop, as we know. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, look, Ruben Amorim, it has a conveyor belt of has a team of people who's picking his transfers, and Dorgu wasn't his choice, right? And that is what I'm going to get into right now. Dorgu wasn't his choice. I mentioned Dorgu in the summer, right, before Ruben Amorim walked into the door, which means it is an Ineos signing, right? Because Dorgu was mentioned in the summer before Ruben Amorim came, right? So that was not Ruben Amorim just gave the go ahead. Ruben Amorim did in fact want Federico Di Marco, of course, of Napoli. Federico Di Marco of Napoli, a left back at Napoli, as basically Inter Milan, excuse me. Federico Di Marco is a player that basically Ruben Amorim earmarked. He wanted at Manchester United, the Inter Milan player, as a left wing back position. Of course, the Italian international, 28 caps for Italy, 3 goals, 27 years old is where the stumbling block happened, because Di Marco is worth about 60 million euros. 60 million euros for Di Marco. And Ineos were not prepared to pay that money for Di Marco. You know, and this is exactly where we go from here. In the past, for example, Eric Ten Hag, if he wanted Federico Di Marco, we would have bought Federico Di Marco and way overpaid for Federico Di Marco as well. So that is where we get into the realms of sometimes managers' choices in regards to footballers is not great. And I would say that in regards to Eric Ten Hag, his signings were not great. Some of them were. And let's not forget, Kobe Mainu, Garnacho are of his products, right? Ugarte is his, right? At the end of his signing, at the end of the day. Okay, so there are Delict is his signing. You know, there are some signings in there that I think Licha Martinez is his signing. There's some signings in there that I agree with and I thought were fantastic, but there's some signings in there that I thought were bad. And that is why a team needed to be implemented rather than just one person deciding what the transfer should be, because that is when you get conflicts of interest, and that is when you get certain players who have favoritism. You know, favoritism happens, and, you know, you need a bunch of people, you know what I mean, 5 or 6 people who are going to say, you know what, Eric, that player's good, but you know what, this, that, injury record, this, that, he's got this, that. At the end of the day, as we found out when Eric Ten Hag was the manager of Manchester United, he's doing every single job, even fixing the roof, the leak in the roof. And that was said, and that was a fact, right? And that shouldn't have been the case. Eric Ten Hag should have had a chance to concentrate on the team, and that's it. Absolutely. Good morning, Baz. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Shah, I still don't get how Mount passed their medical. There you go, Shah. There you go. At the end of the day, if people don't want to blame our medical team, if people don't believe our medical team are incompetent, there you go. I mean, anyone could have told you that Mason Mount has a problem. You know, anyone could have told you that Mason Mount is injury prone. Do you know what I mean? Anyone could have said that at the end of the day, of course. Paul. There are so many failed, like Coutinho, Barca, Hazard to Madrid. You know, it's very easy to speak in hindsight, isn't it, Paul? At the end of the day, we can speak in hindsight so many failures. But at the end of the day, it's a bit like throwing a bunch of things against a wall and hoping one sticks. At the end of the day, that Man United and Eric Ten Hag, you know, is the past. And Eric Ten Hag has been proven, in my opinion, to have been right about a lot of things. and we have been proven to be right because look at the results. We've got one of the best up-and-coming managers in Europe. Probably win trophies at Real Madrid, Ruben Amorim would, But he's been brought into a complete mess. And we told people that for a long, long time ago. I don't just back people willy-nilly. I don't. I'm very critical with what I say. I look at every single angle. I don't just look at one angle at the end of the day. I look at every angle and I come out with an evaluation. I don't have player FC. I don't have player agendas. I don't. And I just go by what's best for Manchester United. And I know that, and you know that, a lot of people know that the fundamental problems at Man United run deep. They run deep, and there is a cultural issue at Man United that needs to be addressed that it hasn't been fixed in many, many years. And we're starting to get into a sort of habit of losing, which is what we don't want. Teams get into habits, It's like not winning a trophy in 30 years. You get into habits. Man United went 26 years without winning a Premier League trophy, a Division 1 trophy. So at the end of the day, look, it can become a habit, and we have to change this culture at our football club. And, in regards to Coutinho and Barca and Hazard to Madrid, and things don't always work out. I could have bet my life on Hazard doing well at Real Madrid. He didn't do well at Madrid. I could have said that about Coutinho. He didn't do well out there. At the end of the day, some people can come into a football club and they, like Manchester United, and just fail, because Manchester United, just like Real Madrid, just like Barcelona, Manchester United are a big shirt, are a heavy shirt. And some great players have come to big clubs and failed. I know many have gone to Real Madrid and failed. I know many have gone to Barcelona and failed. I remember the likes of Emmanuel Petit, Mark Overmars going to Barcelona and failing. I remember Patrick Kluivert going to Barcelona and failing. These are great players, that have played for these clubs. I remember many players I remember Jonathan Woodgate going to Real Madrid, who was a brilliant defender, failed, and that is the way it is sometimes. Big up, Roy Michael. What's going on, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Morning, everyone. And so I remember when Michael Neaton was going to buy United, we should place Onana. He's a liability in front of goal. God bless. Big up, Roy Michael. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Michael Neaton. Yeah. Unfortunately, we had a problem, obviously, with Alex Ferguson and the horse, of course. And, that has obviously affected us ever since then. So it's been 20 years of the Glazers, unfortunately. And we couldn't have envisioned what would happen, but we did predict what would happen. I was there with my green and gold scarf. Some people went off and created a new football team, of course. And, unfortunately, it is what it is. And hopefully one day we see the light at the end of the tunnel and we get these Glazers out, because at the end of the day, they overstayed their welcome. They've overstayed their welcome. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to move anywhere soon, because obviously the Glazers were facilitated by Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So hopefully something in that happens, of course. Absolutely. Big up, Fan. What's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you back, my friend. We need a DOF to push back the manager. We need an adult to say Casemiro for 60 minutes. That was what we're doing now, Almac, isn't it? That's what we're doing now. This is why Dorgu was not an Eric Ten Hag signing. Dorgu was not an Eric Ten Hag signing, and I know Dorgu wasn't an Eric Ten Hag signing. Not only what I've heard, but I reported about Dorgu in the summer. It was in the summer I reported Dorgu, and it was before Ruben Amorim walked through the door. So already we're getting the kind of director of football. We got obviously Vivel, we got Wilcox, we got Barada, all making decisions about the players. All of them making decisions, not just one, which I find great, because at the end of the day, if a bunch of us in the stream wanted one player. Like some player want Ratigi, Some player want, another player who plays for this. Some player want Edison, and some people want Osman. Some people want Ratigi. Some people want Gutierrez, So if we had a team of people, to look at these players and say, right, this player is good, but he's injury prone. This player is good, but he doesn't score that many. Or this player is good, but he's too young. And if we had that, then it would have been better for going forward. And we should have had that a long time ago. It beggars belief, to be honest, that Man United, a massive club like us, we've never had that sort of structure at Manchester United. It's crazy when you think about it, isn't it? And now things hopefully, fingers crossed, will get better. And the right players will come to his football club, because it's not just about the talent. It's about the personality. And as we said about, certain players who lead the football club who do well elsewhere, it's because they can't handle Manchester United. It's because the shirt is too big for them. And that is personality. And that is what Alex Ferguson used to do. Get to know the person. get to know him inside out. Is the person good at handling pressure? What's his personal life like? Does he have a wife? Is he married? Is this, that? And these are important things. Some people brush these things off like they're nothing. They brush it like, oh, what's having a wife got to do with it? It has everything to do with it. Everything to do with it. Only woke people say that not having a settled life is not important in football. Having a settled life is one of the most important things in football. Having someone who's there for you all the time, relaxed, everything like that, rather than you going out in furry jackets in New York alone with loads of idiots around you who just want to lick your backside because at the end of the day, you're Marcus Rashford. That is what it is at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And you rather have something real than something fabricated and fake. What that is. Do you know what I mean? That's what I would say. And, with Alex Ferguson did it well. He's also met players that, Man United could have signed and obviously, and didn't sign them. There was a famous one. His name was John Hartson. John Hartson used to play for Arsenal and West Ham, right? God bless John Hartson. Obviously went through illnesses and stuff like that. Big respect to John Hartson. But, what I would say about John Hartson is that he was a good Premier League striker. And nowadays we would be like, oh, John Hartson. Yeah, let's get John Hartson if it was these days. But then Alex Ferguson said no. And the reason Alex Ferguson said no, he said, I don't like his personality, his lifestyle. You know what I mean? And there you go. And it's not only about the talent, of course, guys. Absolutely. Morning, Fanactive 8. What's going on, you legend? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Absolutely good to see you. Anthony playing with that energy just tells the intensive and competitive the EPL is. He don't run like he is asked to at United. Premier League's a different animal, fan. You said it there. Premier League's a different animal. It's not that that's a bad player. Sometimes certain players fit into certain leagues. And I think that Anthony fits into the La Liga perfectly. Great for Man United. If he does well, he will go to Real Madrid and Barcelona, won't he? Real Madrid and Barcelona will want Irfan. Not want Irfan. Of course, everyone wants Irfan. But you know what? At the end of this, he will go to a Barcelona or Real Madrid. And I personally think if he does well, he will go to Real Madrid or Barcelona. I think that. So that'd be great for Man United to get some money in. Hopefully it goes towards the team. Absolutely. Do we need one creative attacking midfielder? Number 10 can't play Xerxes and Garnacho together. I agree, GK, but that depends on obviously Ineos and at the end of the season, the Glazers at the end of the season, Man United. You know what? This is what the subject I was bringing in yesterday about Garnacho. And unfortunately, we do have a lot of hatred for Garnacho. And I don't like this hatred for Garnacho. I really don't. And to be honest with you, a 20-year-old, who's, it's a lot of pressure on him, starting from that chubby plonker on the other channel, you know what I mean, who was waiting outside Old Trafford, giving him the grief and stuff like that. It all started from that. And people need to understand that when you criticize young players, right, especially in front of their face, right, it can have an adverse effect on their performances. And you know what, a Puskas winner in Garnacho, we all know what Garnacho can do when he's on fire, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, there's been too much scrutiny on him, too much singling out of one player and stuff like that. And I don't single out one player. Man United is a collective. And to be honest with you, we have a lot of problems at Man United. And, I can think of 6-7 players that shouldn't be at Man United right now. You know what I mean? And, but I don't like to single out players. I don't. And I don't like to single out young players as well, because young players, their career is very, very on a rocky path, and it just takes one slight left or one slight right to ruin their careers. And and I've witnessed it many times in Manchester United. Look at Ravel Morrison. Do you remember Ravel Morrison? One of the most talented young players who come at the academy for Man United, couldn't make it because of certain things around him. You know what I mean? And attitude, things like that. It's very hard with young players. It's very hard, and you have to get it right, of course, and you have to support them. Absolutely. Amak, do we now have too many cooks in the kitchen? We now have a lot of managers at the club who is making the final decision. Amak, you know what? I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think, you can have too many cooks in the kitchen. I think you can. I think around, you should have a bunch of people doing the transfers, but not too many. You should have like 3. You know what I mean? You have the manager and a couple more. So I think 3 people and their opinion should be enough. I mean, at the end of the day, they should have done enough research and stuff. At the moment, we're employing too many people. I think we got Armstrong, didn't we, through the door. Vivell signed a full-time contract as well. So, It's just that, we can have too many cooks in the kitchen. And I don't believe in too many cooks in the kitchen when there's people being made unemployed as well. 400 people have been made unemployed and we're signing 10 people to change a light bulb, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? And that is the problem, in regards to signing too many people, is that we're going to spend more money. You know what I mean? It's mad. GK, settled and having trustworthy partner essential, Mr. Greenwood. And having trustworthy good partner is essential, Mr. Greenwood. My name's not Mr. Greenwood, but having chemistry is very important, GK. In the forward line, when I think of forward lines, I think of Cantona and Hughes. I think of Rooney, Tevez and Ronaldo. And more importantly, I think of Cole and York. Because you may not have the talent that some players have. Like Dwight York was a fantastic player. Was he the best striker in England at the time? No, he wasn't. But what did he do with Andy Cole? He formed a chemistry there. And when they had the chemistry, we were able to score more goals. Manchester United need to create a chemistry up front. We don't have that at the moment. It's not to say that all these players are crap and they're rubbish and this and that. They just need to create a chemistry. When Andy Cole and Dwight York, and I hate to bring this in because obviously that was a good time for Man United, and I heard what Roy Keane said, and I know what Roy Keane said, and I think it's very unfair because Man United in the 90s were a different animal. We had a great manager, a different structure, a great ownership. We were winning on the pitch, and we had Cantona, Hughes, and Steve Bruce, Pallister, Irwin, all that around Roy Keane. So at the end, it's very easy to speak like that. You know what? When anyone could have walked into that Man United team and been successful. So I would say that. You know what? That's my mic gone. Yeah. So I would say that in regards to chemistry, Andy Cole and Dwight York epitomizes that, of course. Hope you can hear me. That guys, sorry, I've dropped my mic. So absolutely. Randy is good. He orchestrated over 50% of City's attacks. I honestly wish to see such a player at United with the current system. United would kill it. Absolutely. Yeah. He's not going to play for Man United anymore, mate. True Sal, the pressure of playing for United is sometimes too much. All things are not equal in football, and criticisms have gone after it are not fair, but it is how to deal with it. It's how to deal with it. You know, another big thing in regards to life as a footballer these days is social media. It's very hard, when you turn on your phone, you know what I mean? I can only imagine the amount of abuse. My brother was in the music industry a long time. He ended up working with a lot of people, including Shady Records and G Unit and things like that. And some of the abuse he got, you look at it and you think, wow, this is only a small minuscule of the abuse that some of these footballers get. Do you know what I mean? And you can imagine that as soon as they turn on their phone, you can say yourself, right? You could say to yourself, oh, just ignore it. You can't ignore it. It's hard. It's hard to ignore it. You know what I mean? And these players have egos, you know what I mean? And when they're being told 1,000 good things, it's that one bad thing that sticks out in the head. Even though you tell yourself, I don't need to talk to this guy. You know what I mean? This guy's an idiot, a waste man, whatever. You know what I mean? But you know what? That one thing, it still hits you, and you're still like, you know what I mean? Sal, every time I watch your great show, you talk so much sense. You are a United mouthpiece. I can see a passion in your eyes. God bless you. Roy Michael, thank you so much, Roy Michael. Every time I see you, mate, I have a lot of respect for you too, mate. Thank you so much, my friend. Really appreciate you. I do have a lot of posh passion for this football club, and I will give anything for this club to be successful again. And I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care whatever. I just want Man United to be successful. And if someone told me the formula right now, I don't care what it is. If it worked, I'd be happy. I don't care. If it worked, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? Because I just want to see us challenge. And I can't wait to come on this stream. And I believe we will. And have, be a successful football team. Again, it'd be fun, of course. Absolutely. Example, Greenwood. Yeah. Greenwood has always been a generational GK. Mason Greenwood was one of my favorite young players when he was coming through the system. He reminded me of Robin van Persie. He was brilliant. And to be honest with you, unfortunately, what has happened, and we can't do nothing about it, sadly. Will he come back to Man United? I would love him to come back to United, but at the end of the day, we can't really bring that into the subject because it's such a touchy subject. It's a thing that many fans feel passionately about, and obviously. For the A-suite structure, we cried for DAF. I blame the Glazers because they could have put these structures in place, but they went in the money. Yeah. Irfan, you know what? Football is not absolute. Football's not full of, exclusives and stuff like that. But what I would say is that we have been structurally run the wrong way for many, many years. You can tell that by the manager appointments, right? You look at the manager appointments. We went from David Moyes, went from Louis van Gaal, went from Jose Mourinho. We went to Ragnick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ten Hag. These are all different types of managers with different types of systems and philosophies. And that shows you how badly we are at football. They are winging it. They were winging it, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. It's as simple as that. And that is evident with the success or lack of that we've had over the last 12 years, 13 years since Alex Ferguson left. You know, we've been run through the mess. Like, you know, when Alex Ferguson was the manager, you know what? You have Teddy Sheringham there, and then Teddy Sheringham will go. You're putting Berbatov in there. It's similar players. You know what I mean? You have Dwight York, Teddy Sheringham, similar players. You have, you know what I mean? And you would know the type of player that Alex Ferguson wants and the type of direction that we'll be going in. And, you know, nowadays it's like we're throwing everything at a wall and hoping something sticks. And that is where we're going wrong, of course. Almac, do you believe in Ineos or are they a fraud watch? Do you believe they will be successful? What I would say, Almac, in my honest opinion, I hope they're successful, because if they're successful, then Man United are successful. But I don't believe in them. No, I don't. And they are on fraud watch. And why wouldn't they be? Why should we trust them? What are they giving us to trust them? You know, at the end of the day, they're happy to make people unemployed. They're happy to, like, you know what, sack people on 20 grand a year with kids and mortgages. You know, I'm going to hold them to ransom. I'm going to hold them, you know what I mean, accountable for every single thing that happens at this football club. If we do not have a amazing summer window this year, they're on their heads on the block, man. Their heads on the block. I'm going to go after them. I'm not going to deny it. You know what I mean? I wish they succeed. I hope they succeed. I wish them the best of luck. But the way they're doing it, they're not making any friends. You know, and you know, they're doing it in a way that, you know, it's us against them, and they have to make it happen. Of course, absolutely. I'm not saying Rodri will play for United. I'm just saying what a difference such a player. Rodri is a fantastic player. Rodri is probably one of the best players in the world. I don't agree with the media saying that, oh, it should be Vinicius Junior who wins it. No. At the end of the day, football is not just about attack. Football is about midfield and defense as well. I come from a generation, you know, where we won a treble and Rivaldo became player of the year. You know, there could have been all kinds of players of the year for Man United. You know what I mean? Andy Cole, Dwight York, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, you know, Peter Schmeichel, you know, and none of them became it. I just don't agree with the Ballon d'Or, to be honest. I would love the Rodri to play for Man United. Rodri's, obviously, his absence at Man City has caused them a lot of problems, of course. What happened to Greenwood case is that's why relationships should be balanced. Otherwise, it should affect the mentality, especially when someone really matters for you. At the end of the day, what I would say to people like Greenwood and everyone is that pick your partners. At the end of the day, he got with that girl because obviously probably, you know, it's his first girlfriend, probably. That's why. And I wish them the best of luck. They've had 2 babies. And you know what? All I would say is that we're human beings and we move on. And human beings make mistakes. I make mistakes, many. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if we didn't make mistakes, we'll each be sitting on a yacht somewhere, millionaires, wouldn't we? So at the end of the day, what I would say is that wish them the luck, wish them good best of luck. And you know what? I wish no harm to anyone at the end of the day. And I hope they succeed because, you know, I'm a guy who believes in chances. I'm a guy who believes that we're human beings and we're full of just intricate number of energies and stuff like that. And we make mistakes. And you know what? Some more than others, but you know what we do, of course. Irfan, to a greater extent, Ganato is inviting pressure and criticism. He sometimes tend to way too much. CR7, where he kept check by Keane only. And this is the thing, Irfan. This is when I talk about players around. Players around. It's Bruno's responsibility. Bruno's the Roy Keane of Man United, right? Instead of throwing your arms around, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. Encourage, inspire. And that's what Roy Keane used to do. Even if he grabbed you by the collar, right? Even if he grabbed you by the collar, you know that he wants you to win. He's inspiring you in a way. Not, it's your fault. Oh, it's your fault. It's your fault. Accountability and blame. At the end of the day, if my captain of my ship was throwing the blame at the guy at the chef, that the ship is sinking, Whose fault really is it? You know what I mean? And that's what I would say in regards to that. Guys, it is a short show today, but I am back later on for the live watch-along between Manchester United and Fulham in the FA Cup. Of course, don't forget to join me for that. Of course, hopefully we go through. Of course, let me read the fans. Here is here's a thought. At rate, things are going Ineos Group. What if the company fumbles? Are their chemical company already in trouble? Yep, and they are already not honouring their agreements. Then Man United would be in extremely big problems, and they would have to sell the football club. And hopefully, Qatar come in. But you know what Qatar are going to do? They're going to say, we don't really want to pay that much anymore. We're going to pay that much. The Glazed Colourful, the football club, of course. Thank you, everyone, of course. Thanks, guys. Big fan. Thank you, everyone, of course. Absolutely big respect to you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. And please don't forget to smash a like on the video, guys. Much appreciated. It is match day. Come on. United need to get through against Fulham. We have one defeat in 30 games against Fulham. What possibly can go wrong, guys? Take it easy. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. Have a good day. Peace.